Hello everybody. I've been wanting to make a video on my EDC practical go bag, bug out bag, whatever you want to call it. It's not really a bug out bag because it's more of a get home bag, but more of an EDC bag kind of mixed together. I kind of call it my practical go bag. It's got a lot of stuff I use all the time, and also some also survival type things that I would only use in a survival or emergency type situation. But I use a Goruck Rucker, the first generation. I've had it for a long time. I don't think you can get a better or tougher backpack than that one, or any of the Goruck bags. But kind of starting with what I got here, I've got in the small, I'll show how I pack this stuff up at the end, but just some small items I keep in the top compartment loose in there. Some ibuprofen, some Tums, which is almost empty. Snow Peak Spork, had that forever. Just a Sharpie, Tide pen, and a little mini mag light LED connected to a Fox 40. And that stuff just kind of goes in the top compartment along with some Bose wired headphones. They're not noise canceling, they're just a regular like sports, like waterproof kind. I have a little wire dop I got from Walmart. These are like $5. I'm not sure if they still sell them, but yeah, I keep all my charging cords in here, these little pouches, and just keeps them from getting nicked up in the bag. And I usually keep a iPad charging brick in here for charging stuff. It charges a lot faster than the regular small ones. Keep that also in the front flap, along with just one of these little koozies that I got from Goruck, then a little waterproof speaker from JBL. Then in the main compartment, I keep these things. I have this Maxpedition pouch. I can't remember exactly what the names of all these are. I think this is the mini EDC pouch, and this one is the fatty organizer, I think is what it's called. But I kind of mirrored these. I have a little small, it's an old 90s model Dragonfly from Spyderco, and that goes right there in the front. Trying to do this one-handed. And then I have a Recon 1 from Cold Steel, and I keep it in the front of the larger one right here. So they somewhat mirror each other. And it's my philosophy is kind of the way I pack my bag. I kind of developed is bag in a bag. So the Goruck doesn't have a lot of organization, kind of leaves that to your own design. So I have this in the main compartment, this one, this fatty organizer, and then right above it I keep this, and then right below all of that I keep this packing square from REI. But in this one this is the first thing I grab out of my pack if I need to. It's the very top. I have a Surefire 6P LED. Just a really good solid Surefire. Has a pretty long battery life. Takes the CR123s. I've got the kind of military issue type Gerber. Excuse me. Keep that in there. I keep a little needle or a pin for kind of like popping blisters or digging splinters out, or just anything you need a really fine point for. I've got an emergency charging cord for an iPhone, mini Bic, a little small. It's not the Victorinox, it's similar to the Victorinox Classic. It has a couple extra tools in it. A small pen, and just a little small first aid kit, very slight. It's just Band-Aids and some gauze and stuff like that. I think I may keep some extra, I keep some extra AAA batteries in the bottom. So that goes right at the very top. And this one is kind of mirrors it to a degree. It has light and a knife in it, similarly some tools, but it has more, and obviously it's larger. I keep my headlamp in here. I have a black diamond. I can't remember which model this is. They're always changing them, but I think this is the Spot. Have a roll of duct tape on a credit card, an emergency bivy sack, sort of like emergency sleeping bag. This is the way it's configured. It's not just a blanket, it's configured like a sleeping bag. That's pretty cool because it's quite large when it's unfolded. Have the original space blanket, the one that NASA developed, not the little 88-cent one. This is the actual Space brand emergency blanket. Have a Sterapin for purifying water. If you're not familiar with this, it takes a couple CR123 batteries. Has these little metal contacts here detect water. So it's got a setting for, let's see, push once for 1 liter, push twice for ½ liter. So it's configured in those two, or 16 ounces or 32 ounces. Basically, you put it like in an Nalgene bottle. As soon as it hits the water, it turns the UV light on, and you just stir it around until it goes off, and that purifies the water. And these are really effective. They've been around for quite a while. The only thing about them is you have to keep batteries in them. So a lot of this kind of stuff is not. It's a little more electronic. I went with in some ways. I mean, I've got a Sawyer Mini I could use instead of this, but this is just simple to throw in here, and it kind of goes with just kind of the theme of some of the things I have in here, a little bit more technology based. These are Goruck Mesh, I think is the model of these. And the reason that you have two, they're similar to walkie-talkies. There's an app you put on your phone, and you pair your phone up with them, and you can text, sort of like two-way radios, except without voice, you just through text. And you can go completely off the grid with your phone with these if there's no cell service, or if you want the privacy of communication in a large event or something similar to that. You just keep these charged up, and you can also ping each other's location with these. And you can, if you're out of range, there's a similar range to a two-way radio, like 2 to 5 miles, depending on the conditions or the terrain. But if you have multiple of these in your group, like my family members have several more. So if one of us if I want to contact, say I'm here in a location, and I want to contact someone that's over here that has a Goruck Mesh, but they're out of range, as long as there's someone in the middle, it can bounce off that person. You can use that person in the middle, sort of like a repeater for the next one. So they're pretty cool. Yeah, let's move on. In this pouch, I just have some paracord. I have the belt pouch for the multi-tool I showed you earlier. I got some Alka-Seltzer in there, I think. A couple other things. Kind of keep some backups for some of my other stuff, like the Tums in there, some extra AAAs, just stuff like that. But this is a military issue sewing kit that I've kind of expanded into a small repair kit. The pouch is made by Rain. They make a lot of military issue stuff. All right, I have a small tube of seam grip, which is kind of like shoe goo, but it's a little more sticky. You can use it for a little wider range of repairs. We've got some large safety pins, some extra large needles in here for sewing some really heavy duty stuff, a little tiny pair of scissors. Some zip ties in here. You can use it's like if your buckle breaks off your pack, you can just zip tie the cable or zip tie the strap back onto the shoulder strap or something like that. Or there's also a million other uses for zip ties, but I think it's got some buttons in here and some military issue type thread that came with this. So it's a pretty cool little deal. Got the larger Bic lighter in here. This is the full size. And then I have a little fire starter. I use this pack I carry this pack with me pretty much 90% of the time. So some of this stuff I'm a little low on. Like I normally have some more fire starter than this, but here's just a little comb from Kent. Pretty good stuff, made in England. A little small button compass, just a regular Pentel pen. Then I have I forgot what this is called exactly, the name of it, but it's made by PNY, and it connects to your Apple devices. They have the lightning port, so iPad, iPhone, and you can use it for a charging cord, but it has, I think this is it's a 32 gigabyte flash drive as well, so you can use it as a regular flash drive or to transfer documents, files, pictures, whatever, to iPhones, iPads, to wherever you need. Extra batteries in here. We've got the 2032s for like your key fobs and for your car or many things. Take that battery. Some extra AAAs. I actually have a little sample deal of Lucas gun oil. Right in the rain notepad. I think that's about it in there. And then on the front of this, it has a bunch of phone numbers and names on it of my family. That way, if this bag is lost, it can be mailed back to me, or even or if it's found on me, I've got some emergency contact information there. This is my cook set. Inside the bag, you'll see when I put it all back together, rides right next to it. So I can open the top of the bag, and this is right towards the top, so I can just open the top of the bag, unzip this, pull out the water, so it's not a big process to get to. Keeps this water really cool, even if this bag is in direct sunlight. But it's made by Camelback. It's got Molly on it if you want to attach it to the outside. I have the stainless steel Nalgene in here. I keep the little rope connector that secures the lid underneath inside, because it kind of gets in the way for just regular quick use. But inside this, I keep a small pot that fits on the bottom of the Nalgenes. They're usually about $5 to $10. You can get them at Academy or Walmart. It's got the little canteen type handle, so you can use that over the fire. Boil water in that, use it as a cup. You can actually boil water in this too if needs be. So there's a way to purify water a couple different ways. I don't have any of the tablets at the moment, and I don't have everything I want exactly in this bag. It's just been kind of a work in progress. There's a few things I want. I want to put a fixed blade knife in here. I need some extra CR123s at the moment. I'm out of those. There's just a few things that I'd like to have that I'm just kind of in the process of getting, and I need to get some purification tablets, but I do have two means of purifying water. I can boil it, or I can use the Sterapen, and I can use the Sterapen in the Nalgene bottle because it's already sized. It's already pretty much designed for a Nalgene bottle as far as the amount that it holds. I do want to get a Sillock key or Silcock key. I can't remember which one you call those, but those allow you to get water from commercial buildings that don't have the normal spigot that you turn with your hand. It's like a little wrench that fits in there. Not that you want to, don't want to steal water from businesses, but in an emergency situation, if you had to have some water, you could get to it. You could probably use your multi-tool or something to turn the little deal in there if you had to. But moving on, we've got some night vision here. And this is, it could be useful. It's not something that's absolutely necessary in this situation, but I really like the idea of the whole gray man. I try to keep my backpack from looking overly tactical. Not that there's anything wrong with the tactical look. I love that kind of stuff, but it does kind of make you a little more stereotypical, kind of look a certain way that I like to have a little more control over the way up here. So if I'm using this bag all the time, I may not always want to look like I'm some super, tactical. Usually people associate tactical bags with guns and knives, so I don't really want that associated with my bag when it's just sitting here or there, or I'm walking around with it. So if you're in any kind of emergency situation trying to get back to your house or whatever's going on, you might not want, depends on what the situation is, if there's people there that you don't want to alert of your presence and you need to cross a certain area or get through a certain area, you may not want to pull out your flashlights or your headlamps and all that stuff and be shining around. So the night vision I just think is cool because it gives you, a little extra way to see at night without giving away your position. And actually, this is an older one. This is it's a Night Owl Optics night vision. This is made in Russia. It's an older model. I think you can get these for around $60 to $80, like on eBay. It takes a couple AA batteries, but you can focus this thing in really close, probably within about 20 yards or less, all the way out to infinite. It doesn't have much zoom, but it's really pretty clear. It has its own built-in illuminator, and it works really well. It's pretty fun to use, and it's not that big. It's not super small, but it's a pretty cool thing to have in the bag. I always keep a rain jacket in the packing cube. This is kind of the soft stuff. My kind of philosophy with this is these two Maxpedition organizers, they'll pretty much always be in there along with the water bottle set, because that's kind of like a cook kit water bottle / just, general use item there. So I always would plan on keeping that stuff in the bag, but this will be a little bit more fluid. If I'm going on a trip that I'm going out of town and I have extra clothes, I don't need to carry extra clothes in here, so it's just kind of overly redundant, so I can just remove that and have extra space in the bag. But I do always keep the rain jacket with me. This is just a North Face rain jacket. I have a foldable cap in here. One of the scenarios that always just kind of pops up to my mind is if your vehicle's stranded and you need to walk for a ways, or if you're going to be out, if you're in the sun, or just different where you're on foot. Basically, you might need a cap if you didn't bring one that day, depending on what you're wearing. So this one doesn't take up much space. I usually keep 3 bandanas. A couple of them are in the wash right now, but this is one of the ones from Ex Officio that has the bug repellent stuff built into it, and it's really handy to have for straining water if it's muddy, or making bandages, wearing to keep the sun out for the bugs in this case. Just so many uses for a bandana. It's kind of crazy not to have one. You can, use it to start fire. It's just endless stuff you can do with bandanas. Have a set of gloves in here. These are the Oakley Factory Pilot gloves. They're really cool looking. They look amazing. They're not my favorite gloves as far as the fit and dexterity, but they are good, and they are tough gloves. My favorite is Mechanics, but these are cool gloves too. I like the knuckles. I think they're actually kind of more designed for motorcycle use, but cool gloves nonetheless. I keep a pack towel in here. This is not necessary, but this is a full body size towel that will dry you off really quickly, and the towel dries itself very quickly, so that's just a cool thing to have in the backpack. would normally keep an extra set of underwear in here and a t-shirt. I don't have them in at the moment, but just in case you are stuck somewhere overnight, you have at least an extra shirt and a pair of underwear and a towel that you can, take a shower and change your shirt and underwear at least, and you don't have to, it's not something you have to worry about because you already have it in your bag. This is this company's not around anymore, unfortunately, but this is made by Goruck. This is just one of those super ultra light wind shirts or wind jackets. Doesn't look very good. Looks kind of like you're wearing a trash bag when you put it on, but it's something nice little extra jacket to have. It is a little bit water repellent. It's wind resistant, obviously, but it's just a nice thing to have in there. Then I'd keep a Cabela's. It's a first aid kit. It's made by Venture Medical Kits. So it's just the standard 0.7 kit from Venture Medical Kits, and the Cabela's just kind of gives you this little extra bag that it goes in. So that's one of the things I do want to add to this kit, this bag, is a trauma kit for, more traumatic injuries, gunshot wounds or compound fractures, that kind of stuff, or something where there's a lot of blood involved. This is not going to handle that. If you did, you'd take every bit that's in there for one significant cut. So I would like to have a trauma kit is one of the things I do want to add to this. And I want to add a sear kit to this eventually. But this, like I said, I've been putting this with a lot of thought and care over quite a bit of time. Probably been putting this together for probably about 4 or 5 years. I've had this backpack probably for 4 or 5 years, and it doesn't really show any signs of wear other than some dirt that I've got on it. But this is the Goruck Rucker. It's not the GR1. The GR1 is their original bag that they had that it's exactly like this, but right here would unzip and has a laptop compartment. I don't carry a laptop every day, so I didn't get that one. Saves you like about $100, I think, or more to get the Rucker. Keep a climbing carabiner around here. You can clip stuff on it to hang on it, or use it for what its intended purpose is. Inside, it's pretty simple on the Goruck if you're not familiar with it. This is the older version. The newer one has a pouch up here, and then it has this slip compartment down a little bit lower. But in my model anyway, I have a hanger for a water bladder. It's 2 pouches here. They're divided down the middle, and then there's a Velcro strap in here that I have folded away, but it's made for holding their weights for doing rucking, and their ruck plates slide right in here. This just has 2 compartments on the flap. On the inside, it has this one, which it's not very deep. It goes about that deep, about up to my thumb, and then it has a mesh compartment right below it. And that's pretty much it as far as the inside. The outside has one slash compartment on the front. And me personally, I like that kind of design over a bag that has a bunch of pockets here and there that someone else has thought of the reason that, you know, or have designed that pocket specifically for some item they had in mind that you may not carry or may not apply at all to what you do or carry or anything. So I like the idea of the Gorucks being more simple, and I can put bags, like I said, my philosophy of packing this is a bag in a bag. So I can get these smaller bags and organize it in there. When I want to pull out something, I can, it's kind of tiered the way I can get to something quickly. So I can just grab the bag out, and then I know what items are in that bag, so I can just get that quickly out of there and carry it somewhere. I'm not having to open my bag and dig through a bunch of stuff. So it's pretty much just quick access. So I'm going to close the video for a second, get this stuff back ready to pack, and show you how it goes in the backpack. All right, as far as loading this bag back up, I like to put everything back in the same place every time, obviously, but one of the big reasons I like to do that and have each bag easily describable is because if I want to tell someone where something in my bag is, especially the first aid kit or a tool that I need, if I can't get to the bag myself, if it's in the back seat, you know, in a regular situation, I need somebody to grab something out for me, or even an emergency situation, and I can't get to the bag and somebody else can, I can easily tell them where something is in the bag and they can get to it. So as far as the way I pack this up, I'll put the small stuff in first. I'm going to have to do this one-handed, but the small compartment on the Goruck, I keep this stuff. It's these small, I try not to keep too much stuff in there because it gets filled up really quickly, and it's not very effective if you do that. So I keep this electronics, wire pouch, one-handed. Right here, put a little orange. It doesn't come with that little orange pull tab. If you're looking for it in Walmart, this little pouch is like $5. I'll put that on there so it's a little easier to see with the black on black. Keep the speaker in there. And that's just it for the inside of the front compartment. Now I'll put the packing cube right at the bottom. That keeps the clothes. I don't need to grab those items as often, so that's one reason they're at the bottom. Another reason is it pads the bottom of the bag. It structures the bag a little bit better. So I keep the fatty pouch, which I believe that's called, right here. The camelback right there, and it leaves a good void at the top for the small organizer. And the last thing left is the first aid kit. I don't keep anything else in here generally except for the first aid kit. It's on the outside, so if I need to tell someone where to get to it, I can say it's on the front of the bag in the slash pouch. I reach in, it's the only thing in there. I will keep some Kleenex or something else like that in there if I need to, but not generally. That way the bag's not too overloaded. It is pretty full, but I can add a couple things if I need to on the fly. I don't like to just pack it to the gills, because if I grab something or, you know, in the middle of the day and I want to stick it in my backpack, I still have a little bit of room. I can just stick stuff down the front of this or right up here in the top. There's some extra space, but it's not so much space where it's, you know, it's just flopping around, and this stuff structures the bag really well. That's pretty much it. I can't say good enough things about this backpack. It's just super tough. It doesn't show any sign, no threads have ever pulled on it, or I mean, it doesn't. I don't think it's even faded very much. The zippers have never caught or even hinted at messing up. It's just been super strong. You can read all about them on their website. They're amazing bags. You can't get this exact coloration anymore with the green webbing, but they always have different colors from time to time. And they do have a Christmas in July sale. And at this very moment, with all this Corona stuff going on, they're doing a warehouse sale. They're moving to a different location. So they always have sales on if you check back, but because these bags are pretty expensive. I think on sale you can get this bag for about $200. But really good bag. I think that's one of the most important things of having a bug out bag is having a very good backpack that you can rely on 100%. Because I've seen people go and get little cheap bags, and if that's all you can get, that's perfectly fine. But just get the best bag that you can afford, and that way you don't have to worry about a shoulder. Because if a shoulder strap rips on you or something like that while you're carrying all this stuff, if you don't have any items with you and everything that you need to kind of get through a situation is in the bag that you're carrying, and it fails catastrophically in any way, it's gonna be horrible, because that's the only way you have to carry all this stuff, and it's just without your backpack, it's just gonna be ridiculous just trying to carry all that stuff. So try to get a very strong backpack. I would think even if you had to sacrifice a few of the other items inside, get a really good backpack that you trust. It doesn't have to be this one, but get one that you know is built really, really tough. I think that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I may make another version of this as I change it. This bag is pretty fluid as far as what I keep inside of it. Most of the stuff I have in here now is pretty solid. I keep it in there pretty much all the time. I think I've had this exact loadout, this bag, probably for about at least a year or more without changing much. So, but I do change some of the smaller items in and out because I do carry it all the time. I don't really like the idea of keeping like a bug out bag or a go bag, just something that you fill it up, buy everything you want for it, and stick it in the back seat of your truck or in your closet, and you just leave it and you never use the stuff in it. I use all the stuff, the practical stuff. I don't use the emergency sleeping bag every day, obviously, but a lot of the tools and everything in there I bring with me all the time and use them all the time, so I'm very familiar. That way, for example, if you get a multi-tool for your bag and you use it all the time, you're going to know if you trust it or not. If you get a multi-tool, no matter how much you spend on it, you stick it in your bag, and then when you get in a situation, it may or may not be a good one, or it may not be good for you. So I like the idea of using this stuff all the time and getting really familiar with the way it works. But there's all different kinds of philosophies when it comes to these kind of bags. But that's the way I like to roll with it for now. Always learning new things and taking away some things, adding new things. So, but as of now, that's the way the bag sits. All right, guys, I hope you liked the video. It's kind of an older style way to do a video. I know back in the day, people used to make videos like this all the time on YouTube, just kind of spreading their stuff out on the table or the ground and showing it to the viewer. I still kind of miss those days of YouTube. But moving on from that, I've showed you everything in the backpack. I definitely have an everyday carrier EDC that I generally have a larger pocket knife. This is more of kind of my work knife. It's the best knife I ever bought. It's a Spyderco Native. I think it's the first generation. It's definitely not the current generation, but I love this knife. I love the full serration, the Spidey edge, what they call it. As far as what I cut generally is fibrous type things, and the serrations are just superior as far as a plain edge knife for everyday use to me. I think plain edge and full serrated both have their uses. I'm not a fan of combo edge knives. I like one way or the other, plain edge or full serrated. But I always have a Victorinox Classic. I've had this one for probably this is the first one I ever bought. I got it used for $1, and I've been carrying it for probably 12 years. I don't know how old it was when I got it, and it's the first one I ever got, and I just fell in love with them. I've got multiple since, but I still carry the original one that I got. And of course, the billfold. I generally have an Apple Watch or a Casio work watch, and some Bluetooth headphones, and that's pretty much it as far as what I carry. Of course, I have an iPhone or smartphone, and that's pretty much it as far as what I carry every day. I don't keep the back. I'm just not like I'm carrying around the backpack on my back all day, every day. So I generally have it in the vehicle with me, or close proximity. But I always have these items in my pocket. I always have a pocket knife and the Victorinox Classic, at least. So let me know if you like this kind of video. I may start making some more videos. I love guns and gear and camping and hiking and vehicles, trucks and cars and all kinds of stuff. So just let me know if you like this kind of video, and hope you guys are having a good day or good night wherever you're at. Talk to you later. Bye.